Marlene Hutchinson, and welcome to Tips for Guitar Playing Success, streaming now on Amazon Music. As many of you know, I've been sharing my guitar playing tips every Thursday for more than 10 years. It's been my way to hopefully help you stay motivated, be inspired, and continue expanding your guitar playing journey. If you're interested in more learning resources like my guitar courses, Lesson of the Month Club, coaching, Thursday Tips blog, and more, go to my website, marlenesmusic.com. And for anyone who's listening and feeling like you're missing out on all the guitar playing fun, you can easily get started with my super simple Learn to Play Guitar in a Day course. Now, on to today's tip. This podcast is brought to you in part by Gator. Whether you just need a bag to gig with on the weekends, are a frequent flyer needing a flight-friendly TSA Series case, or a dedicated road warrior bringing your instruments on tour, Gator has a solution for you. World-class guitar and bass players, DJs, and recording professionals know, for the stuff you love, guard it with Gator. Today's tip is easily amp up your acoustic guitar. I'm excited, or should I say I'm amped up to talk about this topic. Amplifying the sound on an acoustic guitar is a fun way to add an interesting element to your playing. In this episode, I'll talk about amplifiers, how they work with acoustic guitars, and a review of a cool new portable amp that I recently had the chance to test drive. As always, I love to give a shout out to my listeners around the world. So this week, hello, and thank you to those of you listening in South Africa, Czech Republic, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, and Ireland. So there are many ways to increase the sound volume on an acoustic guitar, such as using a flat pick, placing a microphone in front of your guitar, and plugging your acoustic guitar into an amplifier. Today, I'll focus on amplifiers. To amplify your acoustic guitar, you'll need 3 things: a pickup system on or in your guitar, a guitar cable, and an amplifier, also called an amp. I'll start with the pickup system. It's an electronic device that picks up the vibrational sound of a guitar when it's played. There are basically 2 types of acoustic guitar pickup systems: built-in pickups and temporary pickups. I'll talk about pickup systems in a future episode. The second thing I mentioned is a guitar cable. It's used to carry the guitar sound signal to the amplifier, and for those inquiring minds, they are made of copper wires wrapped in an insulator and plastic coating. I'll talk more about cables in a future episode as well. Ooh, I just love it. Lots of things to talk about in future episodes. On to the amplifier. According to the Oxford Dictionary, an amplifier is an electronic device for increasing the amplitude of electrical signals to increase the sound output, and are often used for musical instruments. Now, not to get too nerdy, but amplifiers consist of 3 main parts: the preamp, the amplifier, and the speaker. In the simplest terms, the sound enters the preamp before going through the amplifier and then ultimately out through the speakers. Hey, do you know someone who would like to play guitar? It's never been easier with my Learn to Play Guitar in a Day course. And if you or someone you know already plays guitar and wants to learn more, then my unlimited lessons, classes, and courses, and my coaching sessions could be just the right thing. The links are in the show notes on your podcast app, or you can find them on my website, marlenesmusic.com. There are many types and brands of amplifiers for acoustic guitars. In terms of amplifier choices, wattage is one of the main considerations. Generally speaking, higher wattage amps produce a louder sound output. Amps can range from 5 to 100 watts or more, so when choosing an amp, you'll want to consider your usage plans. Today, I'll focus on what we call practice amps, which can be good for at-home playing, camping, and small venues like coffee houses. Practice amps usually range from 5 to 25 watts, and when you're selecting a practice amp, there are things to consider, like overall size and weight and power source requirements. As an example, I have an RSM amp that I love. I use it for performances. It's 65 watts, so it's more wattage than a practice amp, which makes it perfect for larger settings. It does require an electrical power source, so it's not really good for camping. But it is a good solid amp system that produces strong sound. It's a bit heavy for me though, so when gigging I use a rolling cart, or when he's available, I ask my very strong son to carry it for me. Another amp I like to use is a small 5-watt battery-powered Fender amp. It's a good practice amp. It's lightweight, the sound is decent, but I wouldn't use this in a coffee house or a large venue because the sound just wouldn't be loud enough. This one is best in small rooms, and it's good for camping. And I make sure I keep extra batteries on hand for this amp. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I want to share with you a cool new amp I recently had the opportunity to test drive. It's the Spark Mini 10-watt amp by Positive Grid. As its name implies, it's small. In fact, it's a 6-inch cube. So I must admit, at first glance, I was a little skeptical about its ability to produce much in the way of quality volume. But I was mightily impressed by its capabilities, and there's lots of cool technology bells and whistles to love. So here's what I like best about this amp. It's surprisingly loud. I tried it in small rooms, big rooms, and outdoors. And the sound was strong and beautiful in all environments. Its unique design features 2 speakers within its tiny body that really bring my guitar sounds to life. It's lightweight. It weighs only 3.3 pounds, which means I can pick it up with just one finger. It's both an amp and a Bluetooth speaker. It comes with 4 settings: custom, solo, lead, and rhythm. And also includes the Positive Grid app, where you'll find more amp setting options, songs to play along with. It can even detect chords and so much more. Its battery can be recharged using a USB connection and can last up to 8 hours. This amp can double as an interface for your guitar when recording. And one of the coolest aesthetic features, you can customize the speaker cover. So, as far as amps go, think about how you'll be using the device for practice or camping or a larger setting. Then when trying and buying an amp, test drive different brands, wattages, and sizes to get a feel for your ideal amp vibe. It's loud and clear. Amping up your sound is really pretty simple. I hope this episode's tip has helped you to continue expanding your guitar playing skills and knowledge. If you'd like to learn more, please check out the many learning resources available at marlenesmusic.com. Thank you for joining today's podcast, and as I like to say, play on.